the same. There are so many different ways to play Miraidon, and there's no consensus on which is actually the best way. So I'm really looking forward to this specific list from Jose, who already played Miraidon at a regional championship in Milwaukee.
There we go.
With a Day 2 finish.
Day 2 finish is not bad going at all. Obviously coming up against Shinji Mori here, who is playing a Gardevoir list. Seems like a fairly standard Gardevoir list. Nothing that stands out too much on that one, although maybe we'll see a surprise. In terms of prizes, we've got 1 Routes, 1 Kirlia, 2 Boss's Orders, actually from Jose being prized there. So, does only play 3, so that could be interesting as we get through the game.
Yeah, only 3 is also funny, but for Miraidon, that's actually true. There are some players that play 4 Boss's Orders, and Miraidon is a very fast deck, especially against Gardevoir. You want to apply pressure quickly, and especially Jose's list, there's no Fluffy inside, so you just try to be quick, attack turn 1, take out whatever your opponent has active. Next turn, play Boss's Order, knock out Kirlia, knock out Ralts, play another Boss's Order, try to pick your opponent's field apart. Yeah, and then when your opponent starts attacking, you're already ahead of the game. But in this game, Shinji is starting the game playing a level ball. And as you can see, what a lot of Japanese players do when they look through their deck and check their prize cards, they put the card that they're checking for, like on the top.
Yep. No, very nice. We're going for that level ball. It's probably going to be, one would imagine, a second Kirlia there. You do not want to end the turn with only 1 Kirlia. Josue does start off with that beautiful special illustration around Miraidon there, and that's actually a great start because, of course, you've got the ability that searches out your basic lightning Pokemon. So essentially, starting with 1 Miraidon means you start with literally everything you want.
Yeah, exactly. And here we see Shinji opening with a very classical Gardevoir opening, going level ball into Mew first. Very beautiful Mew card here. The Mysterious Tail ability allows you to look at your top 6 cards of your deck, and then you can pick an item card. And usually in this turn, you want a Battle VIP pass, which he got.
Oh, nice.
So this is an amazing first turn for Shinji. When you play Gardevoir, a lot of times you think like, maybe I don't actually draw into my Battle VIP pass if I go for Mew now. So especially newcomers are kind of like, I don't know if I really want to do this. But here at the World Championship, we see players, they know exactly what they have to do. And Shinji knows, well, if I get another Ralts, then the game is basically over the moment my opponent attacks. But if I can get Mew and the Battle VIP pass, I'm still in the game. The worst thing that could happen is having my Mew knocked out, which is still fine, but I have potential for more Kirlias. And we also see the Greninja.
Yeah, Greninja coming out, it's a good chat. Excellent point about the Battle VIP pass. It makes me so nervous relying on that Mew to get that Battle VIP pass. Of course, you could also hit something like a level ball as well, which will still turn into that route. And of course, you get the bonus of ending the turn with Mew active. So if Jose does manage to get a turn 1 KO, it's going to be on a Mew rather than something like a Rouse, which you really want to protect so that you can evolve that up into your Kirlia in future turns. So we do see Jose here just kind of going through his deck. He's got the Miraidon, gets to go and get any 2 basic Pokemon, basic lightning Pokemon. But of course, if you make one of them Miraidon, then you can just keep doing it all over again.
Exactly, and most of the time, players go for a fluffy build, so they try to get their Mareep out. This is not the case here. Jose can immediately go for just Raikou and another Miraidon. And if he really wants to thin out his deck, he has the option. And thinning out your deck is very important if you play Miraidon because of that Electric Generator card. Electric Generator allows you to attach lightning energy cards from your deck. You can go immediately attach an energy from your hand, attach the other with Electric Generator, and as long as you are able to move the Miraidon out of the active spot to attack with Raikou, you're good to go. Or if you're lucky, you hit 2 energy cards with Electric Generators, you don't even need to retreat, you can just attack with Miraidon.
It's a really interesting one. I am a big fan of this kind of build of Miraidon. Now we do see Beach Court coming down. That is, it's our old friend Sky Arrow Bridge is back again, lets you retreat your basic Pokemon a little more easily. So just a question there, Shinji, I believe, was asking about, how did you get those Pokemon out? Just going, well, here are the ones I've got. Here's what my board looks like. And it looks like we do have that escape rope.
Oh, this is very painful. He got the beach card, so of course you can just retreat with that.
Yeah, you can.
The escape rope serves 2 purposes. First is, of course, you force your opponent to put a Pokemon active that they do not want. We just talked about how important it is that the Mew was active, so it cannot get knocked out. And now Jose even has the option to use Fleet-Footed and then retreat and use it again. And we could see he attached the energy to the basic Pokemon. In anticipation, yeah, I cannot draw 7 cards, but I have retreat, I can draw 1 more and then another one.
Yeah, and you're looking for those electric generator here, that item card that really is, that's what makes these lightning decks so good right now. And we do see a Nest Ball coming down here, just going to get another basic Pokemon. Yes, it's
nice.
Squawkabilly. I love Squawkabilly. Firstly, this is one of my favorite arts we've had in a long time, a Melokart knocking it out of the park. More importantly, if it's your first turn and only on your first turn, discard your hand, draw 7.
Exactly.
It's Professor's research, but on an ability again.
Yeah,
and
it is
just
only 6 cards, so
oh, it was only 6, my
as
apologies.
strong. And here we see the first electric generator.
Still pretty
This
strong.
Very important. I do not expect. Oh, I do not expect that there is no energy there, but very unlucky for Jose.
Oh,
Did
no.
not manage to do it, but this is exactly why you play Squawkabilly. If you miss your electric generator, just squawk and seize another one. We'll also see the tool, which gives you more HP, Bravery, Charm. This is especially important in the Gardevoir matchup. Because Gardevoir, it deals more damage the more energy you have.
Oh no, he's actually discarded. He had 3 energy in hand, so not only did he not hit any of the electric generator, he's going to have to put 3 in the discard pile. This is not the start he wanted.
And there are still a few left. As long as you
there's
can draw into the electric generator now, everything is fine. But
I don't think he
I
has,
did not
David.
see one.
Oh, no.
Oh, maybe. Let's see. Is it all coming down to the second fleet-footed
I
ability?
think it's all coming down to it. It's not, it's a
And-
cross switcher. So that's not an electric generator,
Oh,
and he
no.
passes with no attack.
This is especially painful. Jose has the most lightning energy cards I think I've ever seen in a Miraidon deck recently. And he used Squawkabilly. He did everything in his favor to set it up. It was such an amazing turn 1. 2 fleet-footed abilities, escape rope, the stadium. Everything went into his favor except for that one last thing that you need, which is the second energy from electric generator. And now Jose is already in a very difficult spot, but one of the reasons people like Miraidon for Day 1 at Worlds, which we already talked about, it's a deck that you don't tie with very often. So I think he would just play out 2 or 3 turns, see maybe Shinji doesn't even have a way to get Curlier, who knows. And Jose can still decide to maybe pack it up, play another game after this one, or his hand is also not looking too bad as well. Just keep playing and keep winning.
We have one Curlier. Oh, and we actually have a rare candy Gardevoir into the single prize Gardevoir, which allows you to draw more cards. Now, an Iono straight away is an interesting one because, of course, this isn't working as disruption at this point. It's just refreshing both players' hands. And, you know, Shinji Mori knows that Jose did not have an electric generator. He definitely would have played it. So this could actually help. And of course, remember with Iono, the cards go to the bottom of your deck so you don't redraw them, which actually makes it more likely you will get an electric generator. Because you said yourself, David, in this matchup, as the Miraidon player, you want quick prizes.
Yeah, especially with Jose's list. There are some Miraidon decks that are a little bit like half quick, half conservative. They try to get like 1 Miraidon, 1 Raikou, and then only have single price attackers, only have Fluffies and stuff like Zero or Zapdos, for example.
Yeah.
But Jose just went all in, put all of his double price part Pokemon in play. And these are easy knockouts for the Shining Arcana, Gardevoir's Brainwave attack.
Yes.
With Refinement, you're able to draw into your boss's orders. So for Shinji, now he knows, well, I just need to knock out any 3 Pokemon, and I should be able to do this as long as I set up. So it's already looking pretty difficult for Jose, and even though there are only 2 turns in the game already.
We've not had many turns, but you're right. The whole point of Jose's deck here, get yourself set up, get some energy on, start taking those early prizes, and really kind of hope that Shinji takes a turn or 2 to get rolling. But Shinji's got a phenomenal turn 2, already turned those 3 routes into 2 Curlier and a Gardevoir, and you don't really need the EX per se here. This is all about setting up. So you've got the single prize Gardevoir, which can draw you cards and get some extra energy. You've got the Curlier to draw cards. And, you know, Jose's still going to get the first prize on that Mew, but do you really just want to KO a Mew turn 2 when you're facing down that bench from Shinji? I'm not sure you do.
Yeah, but we do have the Forest Seal Stone, an amazing card, which allows you to search your deck for Electric Generator, for example. But in this situation here, maybe Jose, he knows, well, I already have an energy that I can just attach for my turn. Maybe I don't necessarily need it. With the retreat seeing now, let's wait, maybe there is another escape rope in play, which would Escape Rope was still a nice option to have here, right?
Yeah, Escape Rope would be awesome here. It would force pretty much a Curlier or the Radiant Greninja into the active, either of which would be a very easy KO for the Raikou there. Now, we do see an Arven going for a cross switcher and another one of those Bravery Charms. So, and I do believe that's double cross switcher because
Yes.
he drew one last time when he was looking for the electric generator. So that is going to allow him to pick whichever bench Pokemon he actually wants to bring up and KO. This is looking nice.
Well, the cross switcher from last turn was put in at
Oh,
the
of
bottom of
course
the
it
deck with
was.
Iono, but we just saw Jose using Forest Seal Stone to get the second cross switcher. And this is why Arven is so
Yes.
nice. You get an item card, which is a cross switcher, and then you can get a tool card for a Seal Stone, attach it. It's basically one card of any kind and an item card in this kind of deck. Yeah, and we see double cross switcher for the knockout on Curlier. Jose knows exactly. He just needs to apply pressure, get rid of all cards that give Shinji consistency, because if Shinji's not able to set up a Gardevoir, this opens another way for Jose to maybe play Boss's Order on the other Curlier, and then it's looking dire for Shinji again, to be honest.
Yeah, this game could swing back to Jose, as you said, David, very quickly here. Pick up those little Pokemon, that's a goal. We do see a Fog Crystal coming down here. Let's go and get a basic Pokemon. Looks like he's eyeing up Cresselia initially. That is the one he popped to the front straight there. Could also go and get another Routes. No, we can't get another Routes because there was one prize and he's already played free.
Exactly.
So he's not going to be a Routes. He's going to go for that Zacian there.
Yeah, but Zacian is very nice in this situation.
Yeah, lets you go and get an energy onto one of your Pokemon. It does end your turn, but if you're not in a position to launch a big attack anyway, then it basically just gets you another energy on the field, and it gives you a pretty decent attacker. We've seen, you know, in recent tournaments, Zacian being pretty good at being able to take out some of these Pokemon. 60 damage plus 30 more for each Psychic Energy. With Gardevoir EX being able to pile that energy on could be an option. Just make sure you don't, you know, give up 2 prizes and fall behind in the prize race.
Yeah, Zacian is very important in this matchup, especially because you want to, at the end of the game, you need to trade your Brainwave Gardevoirs, the Shining Arcana one, with your opponent's double prize card Pokemon. And here we see the Zacian being put down with a Seal Stone. Is it a Forest Seal Stone?
It is a Seal Stone of some description, David. It has to be a Forest Seal Stone. That is
Yes.
the only one in the list.
Okay, I was a little bit confused about that at the first glance.
But that's good. That's a reason to play Zacian V, because that unlocks the Forest Seal Stone. It can't
Yes.
just be put on any Pokemon. It has to be on a Pokemon V. And that, again, you know, will let you go and get that extra card, which is fantastic. And you've got the Gardevoir EX, which is now on the field. We've just searched a card out with Mew. This kind of feels like the last turn before Shinji's deck just kind of goes off.
Oh, and here we see energy attachment from hand on Gardevoir. This might seem like a very small move that you do. Well, you need energy, but it allows you later to take a knockout with less energy. And we see the Bravery Charm. It's actually pretty difficult card to deal with for Gardevoir because you need so many energy, and you try to not put too much damage on your own Gardevoir, because if you do, your opponent can just use their Zero Aura, which for one energy card deals 60 damage. So you're trying. You see, Shinji's deck is not as fast as Jose's deck.
No.
So at the beginning, you don't take knockouts, and then later you try to trade your opponent's double prize Pokemon for your own single prize Pokemon. But with Zero Aura, Jose can just take a knockout on the Shining Arcana Gardevoir for a single energy with a single prize attacker, and then your whole strategy kind of fumbles.
Yeah, of course. Remember, Gardevoir EX does accelerate lots and lots of energy, but every energy accelerated is at the cost of 2 damage counters. You often have very heavily damaged Pokemon attacking in Gardevoir, which is why that Zero Aura single energy 60 becomes such a good attacker. But it does seem like we've got this Gardevoir in the active now. Here comes all that energy from Gardevoir. 4 energy means 8 damage counters, but there is no Bravery Charm on the Raikou here. So what have we got? Is that enough energy?
It is 210 damage.
It is
so
exactly 210.
enough.
Yeah.
And 80 damage is the danger zone, because Zero Aura deals 60 damage for a single energy card. So if Jose is able to pull this off, that would be very nice. We also see the Artisan in play, which, I mean, doesn't matter because they have Miraidon anyways. But,
he's got Miraidon, he's got Nest Ball in hand as well. He's good.
But it does mean that your Stadium Beach Court got knocked out of play, so Jose still needs a way to retreat. With 4 Beach Court in deck, I think that should not be too difficult. As we see that there are entering the field, they're still fleet-footed for the Raikou that is active right now. Let's see if Jose is able to just pull this a very simple trick with the 0 off.
Yeah, you need an energy, you need a pivoting option, and then you just, well, actually, they say pivoting option. Something like an escape rope here would actually be a real pain. So really, beach court is what you're looking for here. Oh, and it does look like that is in the cards. There is a beach court there. But,
oh, there was a poker gear, yeah.
Okay, we did not see the poker gear go down. You don't take a beach court off a poker gear, David. That would be very naughty.
I mean, you could, but
no, it gets
if
the
you know the
cards.
if you know the consequences, you don't want to do that.
No, that's a bit silly round 3 of Worlds when you're sitting at 2-0. And that's the thing, like we're getting to that point in the day where we've got players who are starting to have really good days. The winner of this match is going to be 3-0. You don't start 3-0 at Worlds. There are no easy matchups here. We have seen the energy. Now we got the Professor's research. And really, we kind of do need a beach court here because, of course, we've had the energy attachment already onto the Zero Aura.
Well, the likelihood is very high, and still the fleet-footed was not activated yet, so there's an 8th card potentially waiting.
Here we go.
Oh, let's see.
What is it going to be?
The cards?
I don't think I saw it. No, I don't have any better angles, I'm afraid.
Well, oh, okay.
Oh, he's just conceding the game. So Jose concedes game 1, and it looks like Shinji Mori is going to take a 1-0 win in this first game. But this is very important. That was not a terribly long game. It was only a few turns, and Jose's like, if I'm not getting a KO this turn, it's not working. Let's go to game 2. He does not want a tie. Ties in day 1 of Worlds are terrible.
Exactly. Game 1, I said, well, you can still wait for like your opponent's next turn, and then decide if you want to give up there. I was just about to say, well, Jose still has the option to use Electric Generator to attach and then retreat with that energy, which did not come down. So Jose, very smart mid-item player, knows exactly when he should still try to get some more turns out of the game and then reconsider scooping the game or not. And here we saw a very smart play by Jose basically to end the game here. There's still enough time for 2 games left. Let's see if he's able to pull through.
Yeah, do remember Electric Generator only attaches to the bench Pokemon.
Oh, I'm very sorry.
So that could have been played, but what he would have to have done, instead of attaching to the Zero Aura on the bench, he would have had to attach to the active, hoping for the Electric Generator. And I think essentially the question was, do you feel better about Electric Generator hitting an energy for the bench or just drawing a beach court?
Yeah, no, of course. I was completely wrong about that.
No, I think beach court was the play. I think he did the right thing. It just didn't come through. But I like this. 15 minutes. There's 35 minutes left for games 2 and 3. We see there the big KO on the Curlier. That almost was the start of it there, but not being able to get that return KO from the Zero Aura there just unfortunately ended the game.
And here the big chance didn't get through. It was perfect. It looked very nice for Jose in this turn. Zero is a card that you really want to use, but it's a little bit difficult, especially if your opponent knows exactly what to expect. And there was also maybe a little bit of a surprise, because if you notice, Shinji did have the reversal energy in hand, but chose not to attach it. If Shinji would have attached the reversal energy, the play with Zero wouldn't have even been possible. So maybe it was even a little bit of a inexperience to play this matchup specifically, but this surprise factor is now completely out of the question.
It is. Now, Jose had a pretty barren turn 1. Zero Aura attach energy pass. And Shinji here started with that Cresselia. Doesn't need to use Mew to get Battle VIP pass today, David. Just straight into the deck. Going to get a couple of basic Pokemon. And like you see there, popping those cards up, seeing which basic Pokemon are going to be available. I love your point about Zero Aura, though. Is that going to be something, Shinji's going to be playing around now and just, basically taking away that option? But I mean, Jose's at 1 game down. He needs to have a better start in game 2. That's not a better start in game 2.
Yeah, usually you would try to start thinning out your deck with Miraidon, especially in Jose's list. He has nothing from not putting Miraidon down on the bench. Usually, the Zero is free retreat, which is something you should never forget. So
yes,
if there would be a fear oh, maybe my opponent plays Escape Rope, but who plays Escape Rope in Gardevoir, right? So no. It really does look like Jose's opening hand is just not strong at all. Let's see, maybe Shinji can make it a little bit fairer. It does not look like it.
No, of course, there is always that hope. Now that Iono's in the format, you're always like, well, if my opponent plays Iono, I get a new hand of 6.
Exactly.
but unfortunately it's not terribly likely. Even if you've got Iono at this stage, you hold it. Now, that wasn't a phenomenal turn from Shinji there. Oh, and there's the Miraidon, and there is an electric generator in hand.
Nice.
So this is at least going to be a better turn, David.
Yes, and with Miraidon, you can like chain the Miraidon, so you get more bench space to use for your Raikou attack. Of course, if you think about Raikou, everyone is like, oh yeah, you deal like a lot of damage for 2 energy cards, but it depends on your own bench size and your opponent's bench size. So it's an amazing synergy between Miraidon and Raikou. You can already start swinging, and then, I mean, optimally, Jose would have something like an Escape Rope, for example.
Yes.
Which would be incredible now, right?
You can just, really would.
It's basically like Boss's Order on an item card on your opponent's Greninja in this turn. As we see the first electric generator come down, even hitting 2 energy cards. This is perfect.
Oh,
so
this is different.
Even if there are no other good cards drawn now, it's already a strong start from Jose. Let's see if he maybe even has something like a double cross switcher, Boss's Order, or Escape Rope. As we see a second electric generator, just even like you're basically thinning out your deck out of energies at this point.
Oh, he does have free prize, remember. That's a very important one. There are free energies prize. It looks like it's a whiff on electric generator, unfortunately. So average of 1 from each of the two. Bearing in mind, like I say, he plays 15 energy. So having free of them prize is not the end of the world, but it does hurt your chances a little bit there. But honestly, after that turn 1, as bad as it looked, to then be attacking with no pivot needed, Zero Aura's got free retreat,
Yes.
to end with a KO on the Cresselia, it would be better if it was either of those bench Pokemon.
Oh, it looks like there is Escape Rope on the hand.
I was going to say.
He basically gets a free retreat into footed, draw 1 card, play Escape Rope now. Like I said, incredible. Your opponent will never put the Ralts active.
No chance.
But if he draws a Boss's Order now, there was no supporter card played, right?
No, not yet. There wasn't.
The Boss's Order now would have been perfect.
Oh.
And we see Arven, so there is possibility for just cross switcher. You get one of the cross switcher, Forest Sealstone, get the second one. Let's see if Jose is going.
You have to. No, there's no chance you don't do that. You've got a chance on turn 2 to take out your opponent's only routes. Oh, this is wonderful.
Let's go. This is exactly what you want to see if you're playing Miraidon. Perfect, just a perfect showcase of how strong Arven is in this deck. Usually you use it for, like when people talk about Arven, it's usually like, yeah, you can deck like 2 electric generators and you will always hit because like you thin out your deck, you have two tries. But now, of course, with the cross switcher in Jose's deck, that's even stronger. As we see a knockout on the single lonely Ralts.
This is time. This is time for Jose. Shinji will do nothing really of relevance this turn.
Yes.
This turn is try and get multiple routes and cross your fingers. Now, we've got Greninja using concealed cards for a level ball. That is going to get a single route. And is there any chance Jose could have a Boss's Orders this turn? He plays 3 Boss's Orders, 4 cross switchers, so there's more gusting options.
Yeah, also we have the Raikou active. Oh, we see Iono, which is probably not exactly what Shinji wants to play this turn, knowing that, well, if Jose would have had a boss, he would have played it last turn. So he knows there is no boss in Jose's hand. Playing Iono gives your opponent just 6 more cards, plus 1 for turn, plus at least 1 for Raikou. And also you can thin out your deck with the Miraidon as well a little bit in between.
Yes, you can.
Shinji does play the Curlier split. There are some people that play 4 Refinement Curlier, and some people that play 3 Refinement Curlier and 1 Mirage Step Curlier. And the Mirage Step Curlier is actually very strong in this matchup because it just allows you to put all your like your opponent will try to get your Ralts knocked out, but then, because your Ralts are in the discard pile, you cannot set up your Curliers. But with the Mirage Step Curlier, you still have the chance to set up all 4 of them in 1 turn.
Yes.
So for Shinji, this game is still not over, but maybe Jose will be able to close it off in a few turns.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good. I mean, Boss's Orders here would be amazing. And then I'm a fan of aggressive decks. I like playing fast, aggressive decks. Always have done. And one of the things you learn when you play aggressive decks is lots of gusting, pick off the best Pokemon off the bench. You don't really want to just be, the big powerful decks that can one-hit KO anything, attack into the active. The fast decks, they're really going to try and pick apart your opponent's bench. That is the goal here. So we did see a Mew coming down from the nest ball for Jose, and now we see Pokegear. No prizes for guessing what he's digging for, David.
Boss's Order. Let's go.
Oh, yes.
Unfortunately, he did shuffle his deck with the nest ball. And
he's not got it.
There was the argument that because there are like 7 non-Boss's Orders on the bottom of your deck because of Iono, that you might have opted to go, because the only reason to bench Mew here is to thin out your deck,
Yes.
but it's very difficult to actually calculate. I also personally don't know the right answer, but there are like 6 non-bosses out on the bottom of your deck, and then pulling the Mew out shuffles all these decks on top, all these cards on top. So yeah, maybe Jose is better at math than I. I genuinely don't know exactly which a better play was, but we still have, yeah, Jose still has a lot of options. We see him retreat into the Mew. So of course this only grabs item cards, which means cross switcher or even escape rope would be very nice in this situation. Just like last turn, it's an easy knockout on a Ralts, easy knockout on Shining Greninja, and we see another cross switcher.
As he does have the. No, does he have it? He's got an Arven again, David.
Easy. Yeah, it's one of the great choices. As long as you make sure that none of them are on your prize card at the first deck search, which I'm 100% sure Jose did.
Oh, he's already got it. He's got double cross switcher. One's in the hand, one's on the board. Double cross switcher is going to come down to get another one of those routes. And he somehow managed to gust twice without using any of his boss's orders, which he's got to hit at some point. Just making a decision which routes to go for. If anyone was wondering about Pokegear 3.0 as a route from Mew to get boss's orders, there's only one in the deck and it's already been played. That wasn't an option.
Oh yes, of course. In theory, that's also one of the ways. There were a lot of ways for Jose. He still needed a way to get the Mew out of the active spot because it was already retreated. But yeah, a lot of pressure here from Jose, and this is exactly what you want to see as a Mid-Item player. And this is exactly the reason why so many players, I mean, yeah, so many players, not not like 10% or more, but maybe we have like 3% Mid-Item.
There's a few out there. This is not a weird fringe. Like Meowscarada, I think there's like one. That's a weird fringe deck. This is not that fringe deck, and there are good players on Miraidon. Everybody always doubts Miraidon. Nobody thinks it's a good deck. Even after I got top 8 at EUIC, I kept being told, like, well, you know, it's a great deck if you run hot.
Yes.
And I'm like, I have so much more faith in Miraidon than other people I know, and I just want to keep being proven right. And it looks like Shinji is choosing to concede the game. So just like Jose conceded game 1 early, Shinji is conceding game 2 early. We've got enough time for like a proper game 3 here, David.
Yeah, they could even play another best of 3 this time, I think. No,
look at this, right?
But like you said, Miraidon is a great deck if it runs hot, and Jose just tried to make sure that he will always run hot.
Yes.
And if you don't run hot for one game, well, you're still 2 games left. And we see these 2 games left where you still have the chance to run hot. One of them went completely fine. It's going down to the wire, game number 3.
Oh, I'm excited about this. Like, you know, let's face it, we're both excited about Worlds. Yes. You know, we're both excited to sit behind the desk, and you know, Ethan and Carl did a great job round 1 and 2. But we're both sitting here being like, is it our turn yet? Can we go talk about some games? And then to sit down and get Miraidon and get this exciting a game, it's just, yeah, this wait has been absolutely worth it. I love seeing Miraidon in action. And Jose showing he really knows what he's doing. And that Arven cannot get over how good this Arven is going.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to game 3. Now Shinji knows basically exactly what kind of version of Miraidon. I said earlier, there's a lot of different versions, a lot of flavors, as you might call them, of Miraidon. Shinji definitely prepared at least a little bit. Everyone saw that it won the Korean National Championship, so everyone is aware that the deck exists. So he probably did some testing. He is day 1 at World Championship, so he's definitely a strong player.
Of course.
Which means now he's adapted, he knows exactly what he needs to do game 3. And the Gardevoir matchup is not that easy to play for Miraidon as well. So it's probably like a very 50-50 matchup. Yeah, game 1 didn't go well for Jose just because of the cards he drew. Game 2 didn't go well for Shinji because Jose drew too well. So now we have like a more fair like distribution of luck to say there's also a good chance for Shinji to win the game.
So what do we see? Nothing too terrible on there. How many guards? So it's one of the 2 Gardevoir EX that could be a bit of an issue. Other than that, yeah, it's all fairly evenly distributed. You're going to have some decent cards prize, but it looks like we are into game 3 here, and Shinji is starting us off with a level ball. And if this is anything like game 1, it's Mew, and cross your fingers for a Battle VIP pass.
Exactly. It depends, of course, a little bit on the other cards in your hand. As we see Shinji with the typical Japanese style of checking for your prize cards, which I always find very interesting to see the difference on just how the players move their cards in general in Japan and outside of Japan. Everyone checks for their prize cards at the beginning, especially now with the rules. everyone knows, yeah, it's like fine to take a little bit longer at the beginning as long as you play faster afterwards. This is something, if you might read the rules and you think, oh, well, I don't have so much time for my deck search, it all depends. So
Yes,
and it depends on the circumstances. First turn, you want to know your prize card. It's fine to take a little bit longer, but we see one surprise, a second rolls.
Oh, it's all good.
Let's-
Oh, wait, sorry.
Yeah, a second rolls coming down here on
Okay, yeah,
Shinji's,
it is all good.
field.
Sorry, I misheard
No,
myself
no
for a
problem.
second
No
somehow.
problem. Yes.
But yeah, second rail's coming down, always a very good thing. And yeah, you're right. It's an important piece of context. Everybody knows you have to do that deck search to know what your prizes are, so judges will account for that. Not a great end to the turn from Shinji,
no.
of course, just finishing with 2 routes out. And now Jose's got that Miraidon. And of course, if you've got one Miraidon, you've basically got everything you could want. We go for a Raikou and a second Miraidon, which then activates Tandem Unit again, and we've got ourselves a Raikou coming down. And now we have, this is turn 1, so it depends what Jose's hand is like. If he's got room on the, if he's got something in his hand to search Squawkabilly, which he does, yeah, we're going to see him leave bench space and nest ball for that Mew.
Well, there is Escape Rope, for example. There are a lot
Yeah.
of options for Jose. This is, it hurts a little bit to see Shinji's setup here. I was looking forward to a very nice game 3. Maybe, yeah, there was a very good chance that Shinji can just win this game.
Okay, Squawkabilly's in hand,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
why.
okay,
I was wondering why. I was like, I love Squawkabilly turn 1, it's so good. But yeah, you're right. The Shinji's start here is just, it does make it look like we could see a bit of a game 2 rerun where Jose is just here and, you know, doing his thing, so to
Well,
speak.
yeah, but like I said, Shinji does have the option to go into a Mirage step. So, depending on his hand, we didn't see it exactly. If there is another level ball and an energy, this game might still be very nice for Gardevoir. As we see a Professor's Research coming down, Mew in the active spot, still no retreat use, it was just an escape rope. So Mysterious Tail, you can grab more cards. If we see the Beach Court, you can just retreat. But it is very important for Jose to draw that Electric Generator now.
Oh, he's drawn a bunch of energy, which is bad because it's not energy in your deck, which can then be hit off Electric Generator. So let's hope he hits one off of here. He does hit one, but we need to watch. Essentially, the more energy that are in your prizes or your hand or your discard pile, the harder it's going to be to hit those energy off of Electric Generator. So here we go. Can we see? We saw 2 and 0 last time. Here,
Oh, nice.
just 1. That'll do. That's all we need.
That's all you need. That's perfect. The hand attach was already used,
Yes.
so there is no way to retreat the Mew, for example, with another energy. So now there still needs to be some kind of switching option. And Electric Generator, as Ross corrected me earlier, can only attach to the benched Pokemon.
Ooh, that's nice, David. Double energy off an Electric Generator.
Yeah, and like I said, Electric Generator, now you're basically just thinning out your deck. And if you then use Squawkabilly, you have even better chances of drawing into your Beach Court or...
He's already got it in hand. It's on the field.
Perfect.
Beach Court is... This is about as good a turn as anyone could want. I was just about to say about all you need now is just draw into some Bravery Charm. Well, he's already just attached one. So we could do with a couple more Bravery Charm. But I think other than that, this is about as good as this turn could possibly have gone for Jose here. He's got the Raikou, he's attacking, he's got 2 energy on him, a Rhydon, he's even got the Bravery Charm on the active, and this is, like you say, I think we need a Mirage Step Curlier here. I think that's got to be what it is. Level ball, energy, there's the energy.
So...
Do we have a game?
Yes, there are supporter cards in Shinji's hand, so it's not over yet. On with the Cresselia on the bench now as well. And, well, Beach Court you had to retreat in the first place. And we see an Iono, so now it's very important for Shinji to get either the Curlier or a level ball. We see Ultra Ball, and with the Curlier was not priced, so this is definitely an option here to use.
Okay.
And just like that, you can completely negate the very fast setup Jose had. And I'm very happy. This is exactly the game that I wanted to see. A 50-50 back and forth where both players can show their exact best, completely independent of their luck. As we see the Mirage Step Curlier going down, searching your deck for 3 Curlier cards that you can put immediately onto your bench. This card is only limited by the amount of Curlier on your prize cards.
Yes.
0 here, so just the best option. And because you use Mirage Step, you still have 1 Ralts in play that you can use Rare Candy on. So
you
just
can.
basically a perfect setup here after a very let's call it conservative turn number 1. Shinji knows exactly what he is doing. Yeah, he just played a trick on us.
Yeah, turn 1 did not go terribly well for Shinji, but this is what, this is why we have this 3-1 split. Yes, I know the Curlier that can draw cards is great, but sometimes, like, if it wasn't for Mirage Step, this game would probably be over at this stage. This is why we play a Mirage Step. So, just having that one option there, not being prized, being able to get your other 3 Curlier, and now all of a sudden, next turn, Shinji's deck, you're going to be drawing an extra 6 cards minimum. You can absolutely go off here. Jose has got basically everything he needs at this stage. Like I say, Bravery Charm and Boss's Orders are good, but, Cross Switcher here is brilliant, but there is too much. You can't do what you did in Game 2. In Game 2, you could shut your opponent's deck down by taking out all of the routes in Curlier. Here, you're just making it a bit more awkward.
Yeah, but you have the doubles cross switcher in your hand, and you can just use it. Of course, knocking out the Mirage Step Curlier doesn't really get you much value. No. You would, of course, rather take the Refinement Curlier. And then later, if your opponent, like if it goes down the wire and your opponent plays like Iono and you draw into like a single cross switcher, that's also a big problem to deal with.
Yes.
Jose knows, well, okay, I will play this anyway. Let's go for the better Curlier on my opponent's side of the field.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely worth playing. Definitely gets you feeling. Like you say, drawing a single cross switcher is bad at the end of the game. And that's one thing about Jose's list. There's nothing really to protect against Iono. That maybe Mew is like the best bet against an Iono. You're not playing these things like Bibarel that some decks play that allow you to draw extra cards. So we've seen lots of early game Ionos from Shinji, but actually a late game Iono against this deck could be absolutely devastating. It's why you see Jose, Miraidon is 1 energy away from attacking. Raikou is 1 energy away from attacking. You set all of your attackers up to give you the most options to try and Iono-proof yourself with your board, because you're not going to be drawing a lot of cards if you get Iono'd late game.
Exactly. This is also one of the reasons there are so many energy cards in there, because like your first few electric generators, if you hit like 2 energies on that, well, you don't even really care about Iono at the end of the game. But yeah, this kind of build always has problems at the later stages of the game. There's for example, a lot of players play a Raichu EX, which can deal a lot of damage if you have a lot of energy cards in play. Not an option here, so if Shinji is able to even attack with the Gardevoir, for example, well, Jose would not be able to take the knockout.
No, that is an excellent point. So we do see the Iono coming down here. And I think we got concealed cards from Greninja drawing extra cards. And then we've got another Curly which can be used to draw extra cards. And there's even a possibility of a Rare Candy into a Gardevoir and drawing a couple of extra cards as well. So this could end up being a very, very nice turn for Shinji. The question is, when does he start attacking? Oh, there is the Gardevoir. You don't even need a Rare Candy into it. There's your extra cards. And of course, if you use the energy, you don't draw it, you can attach them. It's why the ability's so gosh darn good.
Yeah, the attachment is also very important because Shining Arcana doesn't add damage, and there is a Bravery Charm attached, so 250 HP on Raikou.
It's a lot.
That means 7 energy cards, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct, yes.
Yes. So if you cannot actually attach 7 energy cards with your Gardevoir EX, because that would knock you out. So, and having some... No, I mean now, if you really want to take the one-hit knockout on the active Raikou, it doesn't really matter because you will get with the knockout with Zero Aura anyways. But in the later stages of the game, this might be important again. Let's see what Shinji is trying to do here. I saw there was a boss's order in hand, so in theory, you could try to just like get an easy knockout on Squawkabilly, which is always a big liability. And now it doesn't have a Bravery Charm attached yet, which might be attached later in the game. So
absolutely. Now at the moment we're doing 150, I believe. It would need another energy for Squawkabilly, but no, it's just 150. And then this is what Jose dreams about, like being 2-hit KO'd. You don't expect to be 2-hit KO'd. So now instead of trading 1 prize for 2, you're trading kind of 2 for 2.
Yeah, no Gardevoir EX in play as well, and there are enough bench Pokemon just for Raikou to take the knockout here. And now, if you look at the prize cards, Jose already drew 2 prize cards, will down to 3. Will go down to 3 this turn, no matter what happens. So
he's got the Forest Seal Stone as well.
Still winnable for Shinji, but definitely difficult.
Yeah, there's that second energy on Raikou, so that's now ready to attack. That Forest Seal Stone will get any other card. Miraidon, oh, Electric Generator. This could actually put Miraidon into attacking range as well here in terms of energy. And it does.
Yes.
So now we've actually got, and they're 2 prize attackers. You only need 3. When they
Yes.
go down, they're done. So Jose kind of doesn't really need many cards now.
Yeah, and also the Forest Steel Stone, you can just leave it there.
Yes.
And then your opponent plays Iono, and you're like, well, I don't care, boss, they win. It is not possible to take a one-hit knockout on a Gardevoir EX on the bench, so taking like 2 prize cards with boss's order, it's not possible, as we see a retreat into Mew, which seems like Jose is trying to go a little bit more aggressive with the double cross switches. There's probably, we see a Nesbor, which you cannot play right now because
No, he's
your
got a
bench is
full
already
bench.
full.
Getting a basic would not do him any good, unfortunately, but he's got an oven.
I mean, I would have done the same, right?
Yeah.
You have free retreat anyways, and then you can retreat into Mew, and if you hit with Mew, well, you don't need to play Arven. If you don't hit with Mew, well, just play Arven, and it's fine this way. So we see all the cross switches now being played. There was one very early. There was one double cross switcher very early in the game, but this still leaves Jose with boss's order as well.
Yeah, he's still got 3 boss's orders to be used. So here comes a double cross switcher onto one of the 2 Curlier. That had to be the choice, because that's either that can basically sit there, use refinement, draw cards, and then evolve into an EX as well. They are the most awkward cards for your opponent to have at the moment. So that's coming active. We're going to the fresh Raikou, really make Shinji work to get that KO. And it looks like now chooses to put the Bravery Charm. I was going to say, yeah, surely you want it on the Miraidon here, because that's going to be coming active. Consider the Mew, but pops it on the Miraidon. Now we get the KO. Jose's down to 3 prizes remaining, and Shinji needs a KO this turn.
Yeah, this line of play was very interesting because the Forest Seal Stone doesn't give you more HP, so as long as Shinji does have Gardevoir EX, he will be able to take the knockout, but there's only 1 Forest Seal Stone in Jose's deck, so he will not be able to use that once the active Pokemon gets knocked out. So interesting that he didn't use it. He probably thought, I mean, if you don't get the knockout in this turn for Shinji, the game is already over.
Oh,
I think.
yeah.
So,
But it is an interesting one, because like you say, with Iono, Jose's got 1 answer to Iono in terms of card draw here, and it is that Forest Seal Stone. He's got a pretty good setup, but that's his way around it. If this gets KO'd, and then we see an Iono, or even an Iono, and then it gets KO'd, whichever way round, it's going to leave Jose in a very awkward position. He's still got those attackers, but it means he's going to be really struggling for draw throughout the game.
Yeah, but Shinji's hand does not look that amazing. There is a lot of rare candy, a lot of energy, some supporter cards, but not really what you want to see. Now you generally just need the Gardevoir to start attacking, take the one-hit knockout here. There is no knockout on the Raikou, this game is basically over, so for Shinji, in theory, Reversal Energy would be a nice card to draw, but it is in the prize cards. There are actually 2 Reversal Energy cards in Shinji's deck, so even if you do not...
Oh, here's the boss's orders on the damage
nice.
Raikou.
Yeah.
Now this is good, because at first it means Shinji gets prizes, this is a good thing, but it also preserves that Forest Seal Stone in case of an Iono. So this is a very interesting play. I like it, because I've been saying, Shinji needs a KO.
Yes.
Has to get a KO, has to take some prize cards. This is a way to do it without having to get the Gardevoir EX, which does not seem to be on the cards right now, but it does leave that Forest Seal Stone open here. So if you're Jose here, I mean, is it time for maybe start attacking with Miraidon here? It's got more HP.
What's also important is that Shinji was able to take a knockout without having any damage on the Gardevoir, so we're still trying to prevent Jose from using the Zeraora.
Yes.
And now Shinji still has the option to use, for example, boss's order on Squawkabilly and take a knockout with Gardevoir EX, and then Gardevoir EX has too much HP for Jose to knock out. There are 3 prize cards, and there's no Pokemon EX in play for Shinji. So Jose needs to take a knockout on 3 Pokemon from now. And Shinji only needs to take a knockout on 2 Pokemon. So it's still a very, very close game.
It's very close game. Here's what worries me for Jose here. Let's say you get the KO on the Gardevoir here, which it's already on the board. You need like 6 bench Pokemon or something. It's easy, maybe even 5. Doesn't matter. Point is, it's easy. The KO is there. The difficulty here is, if you get Iono down to 2, and then there's a one-hit KO on the Raikou, for instance, taking out Forest Seal Stone off the board, that's going to be awkward. Now, we do see Raihan building up a second Miraidon here. And honestly, if I'm Jose, I like the idea of just going with Miraidon here. 270 HP, because it's got an extra 20 over the Raikou, plus it's got the Bravery Charm. I like the idea of having that ending with Miraidon in the active and going, look, I know you're going to be working towards a big KO. This is the most difficult way for you to achieve it.
Exactly. We even saw the Beach Court come down, but Jose opting to just take a knockout with Raikou. I think I agree with Ross that maybe trying to have as much XP as possible to force the opponent to over-attach energy cards and then over-damage yourself. Because now Shinji, with reversal energy, and if you hit like one Shining Arcana, you can just attack with Brainwave, and you don't put yourself onto as much damage for the Zero Hour to be important. But Shinji's hand is not looking very good at all. This is, we saw a lot of Battle VIP pass, the card. It's
Great
very
turn
strong.
one.
Yes, it's very strong, but it makes your deck lose a little bit consistency. Usually it's fine because you have so many refinements. You can just put them in the discard pile. But yeah, this doesn't always play out perfectly. As we see a Super Rod being played down, shuffling a Ralts, Curlier, and a Gardevoir back into the deck. Just a level ball to thin out the deck immediately. Shinji really needs the extra draw power from Refine. Yes, we see Gardevoir coming, another Curlier coming down. He has to look at his deck very well because if you play either Iono or Professor's Research, you will draw into almost all of it.
Yeah, you've got to be careful you don't deck yourself out. If you start your turn with nothing to draw, that will unfortunately end the game and not in your favor. So it seems like Shinji, there's still nothing really set up on his board. He's got 3 routes, 2 routes and 1 Curlier. He's going up into another Curlier, it looks like that's going to give him another refinement.
I would have done the same.
Yeah, I like that, but where's the attack coming from this turn? That's where I'm going with this, David.
Rare Candy, easy. Rare Candy active. We saw... Now
Does he have it in hand?
There's a difficult decision because he has 1 more refinement, but 2 Rare Candy in hand.
Oh.
And he goes for it, just trying to draw the last piece of the puzzle with that Curlier, but it looks like that didn't work out.
He unfortunately doesn't have it. Does he have that Stadium in play?
Which one?
Has he got Artisan in hand, maybe? I mean, Beach Court's in play at the moment. No, that's a collapsed Stadium. We do see an Avery coming down here, limiting his opponent to free bench Pokemon, allowing him to draw 3 cards. Did those 3 cards do much for him? Oh, he's got the Rare Candies, but looks like he does. Here comes the Gardevoir, and you're right, it is the Shining Arcana Gardevoir. That is what we were looking for here. Do we have enough energy?
Yeah, there's a reversal energy in hand, definitely. So you can use that, but it looks like Shinji is...
We got the Gardevoir EX as well. Oh, now he is running into that potential Zero Aura trap here. That is something we do need to watch out for. 80 damage, the magic number to run into Zero Aura here as a potential KO. That is going to really help Jose here, because if he can, get a prize, go down to 1 remaining and end the turn, with Zero Aura in the active, that is going to force Shinji into some kind of gusting in order to win the game.
Yeah, that Avery was so painful because it just allowed your opponent to get rid of the Squawkabilly.
Yep.
Which was one of the big win options, but Shinji knew, well, Professor's Research will probably lose me the game just because of my resources, and Shinji knows, well, there is no way for my Gardevoir to get knocked out, so I'm definitely fine. Just next turn, all Shinji needs is 1 single knockout. And with the reverse energy on the bench, which, I mean, you could have used it active, but this puts a little bit of risk on your side of the field because it allows the opponent to just go, for example, Boss's Order. But he actually plays a Zapdos, and Battle Claw is able to deal 70 damage. 10 short, unfortunately, to take a knockout on Curlier. But, for example, I mean, at this point, you just want to take the knockout on the Gardevoir.
And that's what Jose is going to do here. He's going to use his Zero Aura. He's going to take the KO on the Gardevoir. Honestly, the game isn't... Jose's going to win this game unless Shinji does, which I know sounds stupid.
Yes.
But essentially, Zero Aura is going to get the KO. Next turn, there is going to be a Miraidon, and, there's a very good chance of having Boss's Orders. And Jose's map is there. It's easy. When I say unless Shinji does, what I mean is Jose's going to pass and go, I have almost certainly got game in hand next turn. What can you do? Can you get an attacker with enough energy and a gusting onto one of my bench Miraidon, and it has to be Miraidon, and they've both got Bravery Charm. Can you do that?
Let's see. Shinji
That's the game.
only needs a few cards. Boss's Order, Shining Arcana, Gardevoir. I think that's even it. There are 2 Bravery Charms on the Miraidons.
Yeah,
which
they've
now
both
has
got Bravery Charm.
270 HP.
It's a lot.
This means you need how many energy are there?
I believe it's 7.
Yeah, 7 sounds correct.
Because 7 times 3 is 21, plus the 60 base is 270, which is exactly what Miraidon has.
Yeah, and we have it. Boss's Order.
Oh,
That's
and
it.
that looks like it. So it looks like Shinji Mori, with that reversal energy, just goes and gets a KO. We didn't see the energy being attached with Gardevoir, but getting 4 energy with the Gardevoir EX would have been a very simple thing. As soon as that reversal energy went down, we see the concession, and Shinji Mori goes to 3-0 at the 2023 Pokemon World Championships. They seem pretty happy about this.
Yeah, Shinji did exactly the right choices at every time. He didn't. It's how they say, right? It's not about the cards you get dealt to, it's about to do the best out of the cards that you draw.
Yes.
And he did everything properly. Even though, Jose, you saw Game 3, drew incredibly well.
Yes.
This draw was crazy. Of course, his deck was designed to do exactly that. But yeah, maybe his Miraidon deck has a big weakness, which is that even if you draw perfectly, there's still the chance that, well, if your opponent knows exactly what they have to do, they can still outplay you, and then after your first few